and then just go.
BC is M-A-C-Y. Okay, I think you're the first person that's ever gotten my full name right.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader. And I think that was something I had the capability of doing. And forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom, you have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out to community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things. So the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting. So I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
Welcome, Cougar fans, to the Cougar pregame show, live for the first time this season. I'm Carter Gledhill. Alongside me is Macy Klein, and today we're going to be looking at Week 5 of the football season as we look at the Lakeland Muskies and the Concordia Cougars of Chicago. It's a great week. We got a bye week that just came off, and the Cougars are looking good. They came out a little scratched up on some depth of their part, but a great team win in Finlandia last week.
For sure. So some of the takeaways from game 2 weeks ago was CUC's first drive. Lance Moise had a 10-yard touchdown and tied the school record for 43 touchdowns, but immediately after that he leaves the game with an ankle injury, but we'll touch up on that a little later. Aubrey then comes into the game and throws an interception and kind of throws everybody off for a loop, but bounced back pretty quickly. Aubrey also had a 1-yard touchdown rush right before the second half, making the score 14-0, and Finlandia scores right before the half, making the score 14-6. In the third quarter, Lechuga had a career-long 34-yard field goal.
There we go.
It was a great day for him, and Tyler Martins also closes out the quarter with a 3-yard touchdown rush. And the Cougars were able to pull out a win despite Finlandia scoring in the fourth quarter.
Some of the highlights from the game individually, Tyler Martins, the running back, came in and dominated on the rushing side with 241 yards on 36 carries. Samaj James, wide receiver, led the team with 3 receptions and 46 yards, and the defense was led again by none other than the linebacker Matt Henning with 10 tackles and 1 sack. As we mentioned, the Cougars did come out with a little bruise, but I think the bye week has been helpful as they got running back Lance Moise back. You talked to Coach Aubrey earlier in the week. He did have some tenderness and he was a little sore, but everything is all good. He should be full go today, but look for Tyler Martin to get some carries throughout the day to change up the backfield a little bit. Some key losses though. Keyshawn Paisley is out today, as well as quarterback Jackson Aubrey. We are seeing sophomore Griffin Bodette take his place at the starting spot today. He has appeared in 10 games last year and had 743 passing yards. So big win, big confidence booster for the Cougars after a couple weeks ago in the home opener. They got, it wasn't, let's say, a lopsided loss against Olivet College. So what are some of the takeaways from that?
So like you just said, I mean, this was a huge confidence booster. Olivet did not work out well for the Cougars, but they definitely bounced back and did give them a confidence booster for their conference play that's coming up very soon.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will do a little season recap.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
All right, we're back. You know, some of the season reflections to talk about. It's been a lot better for the Cougars so far this year. 2-1, a lot better. And, you know, there are some really good things that have come from the season so far, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. The third down defense for the Cougars has been unstoppable. Opponents are only converting about 27% of the time compared to last year where they were converting about nearly 50% of the time.
Yeah.
One thing, though, that the Cougars need to get going is the passing game. They've only had 130 yards per game on average this year. Compared to last year, they finished with 180. So they need to start revamping that game, especially with Lance and his domination throughout the conference. Teams are going to be keying in on him, especially since he's been with the Cougars and been a main point of their offense. All right, enough about last week. Let's get into this week's game against the Lakeland Muskies. Macy, what do we got on them?
So Lakeland so far is 1-2. They had a win over Kalamazoo and 2 losses against Carroll University and University of Wisconsin-Platteville. The Muskies' record last year was 4-6, and they beat our Cougars 61-28. So hopefully we can turn that around again this year, but we need to look out for Larry Rivers. Solid running back, star player. He is definitely the Lance Moise of the Cougars, or of the Lakeland Muskies.
There you go, of the Muskies. And you know what? That's so true. Rivers leads the conference with rushing yards per game with 142, but Lance is second, close behind with 92 a game. And you know what? That's not the only thing that these guys are leading the conference in.
So far we have the battle of the running backs. So for touchdowns, Moise is first with 9, and Rivers is tied for 5th with 2. And again, with rushing and receiving yards, Moise is number 5 with 275 rushing, 144 receiving, and is averaging about 129.7 yards per game. Now Rivers, on the other hand, is second with 426 rushing and 122 receiving with 182.7 yards per game.
Big guys that are going to have to play big roles for their teams today if they want to come out successful.
For sure.
All right, we're going to take a quick break one more time, and then we're going to come back with Coach Carter's tips for the game and then our score predictions.
I'm so sorry. I totally.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that. A lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Welcome back, Cougars. It is time for your favorite part of the show, Coach Carter's tips of the game.
My favorite part too, Macy. All right, tip number one. The defense has to play fast, but you got to be smart. You know, the offense for Lakeland, it's all read option, RPO, empty backfield. Everything's out there. There's not going to be so much trickery that's going to be going on. And just everybody's got to do their assignments, especially in the red zone. The defense has got to sharpen up a bit. In 9 drives that the opponents had, they scored on 7 of them. Tip number 2. Our offense has to play fast, but they have to be smart. Lakeland's D is exposable at times, but the defense for Lakeland is second in the conference with 10 sacks, but their linebackers are slow. Main part of their team though, but as long as the receivers and we can get behind them in the secondary, I think we have no problem in scoring because Lakeland's defense is third most points allowed in the conference on the side. And last but not least is 3. The Cougars just got to come out hungry. I mean, Macy, we were here when they had the tough game against Olivet. And, you know, it was, like you mentioned earlier, they lost 61-28 to the Muskies last year. And, you know, it's just a big redemption game, not only for the Cougars, but they also want to point out to the fans that, hey, we still got a lot of fighting left in us.
Yeah.
All right, we're reaching about the 11-minute mark until kickoff. We're going to do our predictions now. Macy, start us off.
So, I have a lot of confidence in the Cougars today, and we've had our predictions in the past. You know, they didn't work out well, but, you know, third time's the charm.
There we go.
So, I think it's going to be a great game offensively and defensively. I think we're all ready for a battle. I'm going to say 24-21 in favor of the Cougars.
There we go. You know, I think a lot of the buzz that I've heard around here is that it's kind of this idea that the rivalry between these two foes go all the way back to 1947. And, you know, I think it's about time that the odds shift towards the Cougars.
Yes.
I do agree with you that the Cougars are the underdog in this game, but they are going to come out on top. I think they're going to win, I'll say 28-21.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning into the Cougar pregame show. I'm Carter Gledhill. This is Macy Klein. Now we're going to take you to your play-by-play guy, Ryan, back up into the booth.
Guys, thank you so much. Have you back up here in the booth in a little bit, as well as we're getting you set as you get a look at our great staff from down behind the south end zone. As, yeah, hugs all around here at Concordia Stadium on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon for Cougar football here on the Cougar Sports Network. I'm Ryan Fahey with you here at Concordia Stadium here in River Forest, Illinois. The grill is hopping on the far side. Fans filing on in as it is the home opener for conference play for your Concordia Chicago Cougars as they welcome in the Muskies from Lakeland College. And if you're just catching up with Concordia Chicago football, they're coming off of a kind of a next man up mentality victory over at Finlandia, which was a 23-12 victory in which Carter and Macy kind of went into a little bit detailed wise. As we look forward to today's matchup against Lakeland, this goes back between these two teams all the way to 1947. This will be the 51st meeting all time between both programs coming into Concordia Chicago today. And a point that was made out also during our pregame show where you've got Desmond Eddy, who they called him the Lance Moise of Lakeland, and, you know, deservingly so. For him, he's got 2,062 rushing yards on his career at Lakeland. He's currently 51 yards away from tying Charlie Morrissey, who has 2,113 yards from his time from back in 1963 to 1966. So if he's able to surpass that today, and the way that Eddie's been playing so far in 2019, there may be a good chance he is going to do that. He'll get into 6th best for the most total rushing yards in a career in school history. And as for Lakeland coming into today, they're coming off of a loss to UW-Platteville by the score of 55-28. And as we dive into some of the other numbers for Lakeland before we get back into our side of things here at Concordia Chicago, one of the things that Lakeland has been in the statistical department better at than others is the rushing yards per game as a total. So far for Lakeland on the season, they've had 231 rushing yards a game compared to only allowing 117 for all their opponents as an average so far in 2019. Total offense has been another story as well, as for them in particular, getting the start last week for Lakeland in that loss at the quarterback helm for the Muskies was Jaden Wilson, the 6'1 freshman. He went 10 of 27 for 221 yards. As you see the Muskies coming out onto the field right now to get set for our pregame introductions. As mentioned, 10 of 27, 221 yards through the air, threw a couple of touchdowns in the game while also throwing 2 picks as well. He was in spot of the junior quarterback, Schultz Nunnery, who was injured and was not able to go last week, as Nunnery so far in the year has a 65% completion percentage, thrown for 484 yards and 3 touchdowns to correlate. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, we flip it over to the Cougars side of things. No Jackson Aubrey today. The freshman is out today with injury, so that means the junior, Griffin Bodette, who's been here for a while, is going to get the start. He played in 10 games a season ago, completing 47.9% of his passes for 743 yards through the air, throwing 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions to correlate. Now, speaking and staying with Concordia Chicago, I had the opportunity to speak with head coach yesterday, Jason Aubrey, on the phone. And one of the things he talked about with Griffin starting as his quarterback today is that he presents this swagger. He's very controlled. He knows what he can and can't do, so you know what he's going to be giving you as an offense right away. And the big thing is to get confidence early and really get Lance Moise involved heavily, early, and often. So as we're getting set here for kickoff between the Cougars and the Muskies, the Cougars now come out onto the field. As Concordia Chicago 2-1 on the season. They're unbeaten on the road, however, yet to win a game here at home in 2019. They'll look to flip that script here today. Cowbell aplenty in River Forest today, as the Cougars will get set here on their near sideline. See them in their home maroon jerseys, the white pants and the gold helmets, with the Muskies on the far side in the row to whites. The white jerseys, yellow numbers, white helmets, and the navy blue pants. As we get set here for kickoff in River Forest, Illinois on this Saturday afternoon. So as we're moments away, we'll have our opening prayer and our national anthem, and then we'll have the coin toss and get you set for kickoff. One of the things coming into today, and a rather emerging player for Concordia Chicago, has been Tyler Creamer, the outside linebacker, the 5'9" freshman for Concordia Chicago, and for defensive coordinator Charles Watkins in his first season. So far this year, it's been 14 tackles, 3 of those for a loss, and a sack and a half. So as we get set now for our introductions, we'll get to our national anthem and kickoff in a moment, but first now for our pregame prayer.
Is what we're looking for. But most importantly, you're good because yet while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So we ask for protection for the players as they play today. Give their best, and that we honor you on the field. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
So as we get set for kickoff here in River Forest, Illinois, let's get you to meet our officials for today's contest between the Muskies and the Cougars. Our head referee today is Cody Adams. Our umpire is TJ Cunningham. The head linesman is Drew Eisen. Our line judge today is Steve Meitz. Our side judge is Chad Rosenbaum. Field judge today is Brandon White. And our back judge today is Mark Johntree. One of the things, we talked about the rushing game a little bit for the Muskies, and it was also mentioned in our pregame show. For Lakeland in particular coming into today, also can't forget about the 5'10 junior Larry Rivers, who was a first-team all-conference a season ago, along with his teammate Desmond Eddy. Rivers so far in the year with 63 carries for 426 yards. His longest run of the year is also a 66-yard scamper to his credit as well. So as we get set for the coin toss, we'll send it back down to our head referee in Cody Adams. So even though it looks like the mic wasn't working there for our head referee today, it looks like Concordia did win the toss, and they have deferred to the second half. So the Muskies will get the football here to begin our contest today. So with that being said, with the coin toss deferring, Cougars will be kicking this one right to left, while the Muskies will be returning this one left to right. Wind blowing out of the south direction today. Not a major gust by any means, but could be a little bit of a factor in the kicking game. But we'll see how that goes as we go along here for our contest today. As for Lakeland, they come in today with a 1-2 record on the season. As mentioned, they're coming off of the 55-28 loss to UW Platteville a week ago. And we'll see this Lakeland Muskie offense take the field for the first time today. Eric Tresky in his 7th season with the Lakeland Muskies, his 5th season as the offensive coordinator. So for Lakeland back deep, we'll get you the numbers on who's back there in just a moment. Crowd chants getting a little loud already here before kickoff. As Concordia will get set to kick this one from their own 35. It is a sunny day here in River Forest as the Cougars looking for their home win of 2019, their first of the season if they can get it, and it would be their first conference win as well. Adam Lechuga to kick this away, the sophomore from El Monte, California. It's sunny like it usually is from his home state of California. Let's see if it shines for a Cougars victory as well. Off we go, and it's going to be a low kick that is going to go out of bounds. So the flag will be thrown for the kick out of bounds. So that'll give the Muskies nice field position to start off today. Muskies don't decide to have them re-kick from 5 yards back, so they'll take the yardage from where they're at. So that brings out the quarterback, the junior Charlotez Nunnery. Assuming this time the head referee in Adams has his mic working, unlike the coin toss. There it is. So as he confirms the kick out of bounds, Nunnery, the quarterback, mentioned he's completed 65% of his passes this season. As he's now all alone in the backfield. 5 wide receivers to start off on this opening play. As they'll begin this drive on their own 35. Matt Henning for this Cougars defense out there. A team leading 29 tackles, 2.5 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble so far in his senior year. As Nunnery on the first play, the pass is caught. As that goes over to Bryce Kensley, number 7 for his first catch of the day. And a nice early stop there by Concordia Chicago to minimize the gain and bring up second down. Kensley on the year, 7 catches before that one for 126 yards. Yet to have a receiving touchdown. As on this 2nd and 8, that was a completion of 2. And the handoff will go to the right side, and right on top of that one, we just mentioned him a moment ago, Matt Henning on the stop, and that'll bring up 3rd down. That was Larry Rivers on the run. Mentioned him earlier. So far, 426 yards on the season coming into today. Was a first-team all-conference member a season ago. Gain of 3 on that run, bringing up 3rd down and 5. As Nunnery on the option is going to keep this himself, but he's got nowhere to go. A slew of Cougars bringing him down. Dudley helping finish it. And that'll bring up 4th down for the Muskies. And the offense is going to jog off, so it will be a successful 3-and-out for this Cougars defense. Going back deep will be Caleb Casey for the Cougars as he stands at about his own 25. As the punt from Lakeland is a good punt win, maybe limiting that one a little bit as Casey calls for the fair catch just inside his own 30-yard line. So here comes the junior, Griffin Bodette, getting the start today. It'll be his first start of 2019. Jackson Aubrey, the freshman, out today with injuries, so Bodette will get the start. Bodette played in 10 games a season ago. 743 yards through the air back in 2018. Threw for 3 touchdown passes, throwing 5 interceptions. Also ran the ball for 123 yards a season ago as well. There's Bodette all alone in the backfield with a man coming in motion. As Bodette is going to throw early over the middle. Pass is tipped and incomplete. Out in coverage there was Ezekiel Combs, who leads the secondary in tackles with 16 for this Muskies defense. As Colin Burton, the head coach, who has been with the program for 13 years, also the defensive coordinator, had 5 seasons as the head coach. As on the 2nd down and 10, Tyler Martins, and we'll get to him in a moment as he goes left side for a few yards there to bring up 3rd down. Martins was the hero last week in the win at Finlandia. 37 carries for 247 yards. Very Lance Moise-esque like of a performance, but mentioned Lance had the ankle injury and they took him out as precaution and limited him much in practice over the bye week just to make sure he was okay and good to go. As it brings up 3rd down, Bodette to his right looking for Martins, but it's overthrown and the pass is incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down, and the Cougars will punt. Jason Crutcher, the linebacker, in coverage. Has 4 tackles for loss this year, that being the 6-foot junior. Also with a couple of sacks. So the Cougars now will have to punt. Levi Rabus will punt this one away. Number 19 in the maroon jersey. So nothing doing for the first offensive drives for either side here today. As this running punt to the right side is going to be fielded just ahead of the 30-yard line, but there's nowhere to go. Good coverage there in special teams by Concordia Chicago. And the Muskies will take the ball for the 2nd time on offense today with 12:41 to go here in our opening quarter, no score. Again, our producer today, Carter Gladhill, who helped host the pregame show, along with Macy Klein, who is my spotter today here in the booth. She did not run up to the booth like I jokingly told her. She walked up here, took her time. Ball on the far hash on this 1st down. And the shotgun is going to be Tunnery, and he will give this on a handoff. And going down the far sideline and getting through towards midfield for the Muskies is Larry Rivers, who breaks out for the first down of our game today. As this new set of downs will put them officially in Concordia Chicago territory at the 49. The wide receiver set right. As Tunnery will quickly throw to the right side, and the pass is caught by Desmond Eddy, who is going to be taken out of bounds ahead of the 40. And he's going to be just short of the first down. It'll be a completion of 9 on the reception. Mentioned Eddie with over 2,000 rushing yards in his career. Broke that mark last week in the loss to UW Platteville as Tonnery on the keep himself gets the first down and more as he'll be stopped ahead of the 30. Caleb Casey with the tackle there. So now the Muskies moving forward on offense as they try to build some momentum after the first drive stalled on a 3-and-out. As with 2 backs in the backfield and 2 receivers set out to the top of your screen. And on that run there was Eddie. Seemed to be a little bit of a broken down play as he was trying to look for a hole blocking wise, didn't find anything, and he falls forward to the line of scrimmage just to have no gain for second down. Two backs there again. Same set on the second down. And Nunnery will keep this himself, throwing it over the middle. Pass is caught and into the end zone for the touchdown. His first of the year, Bryce Kensley. A 31-yard reception, and the Muskies strike first here in the first quarter. So that gets the Muskies on the board first. As now they'll go for the point after. As the snap, hold, and kick is up, and it is good. Also new LED lights in the scoreboard here as well at Concordia Stadium, as you see there on the right side of your screen. Nevertheless, though, 7-0 our score off the 31-yard connection from Charlotez Nunnery to Bryce Kensley for the score. Mentioned for Kensley in his junior season, that's his first touchdown of 2019. So the Cougars will have to look for a counter on this drive coming up. Samaja James and Caleb Casey going back to return this one for Concordia Chicago. As the Muskies up 7-0 here with 11:05 to play in our opening quarter here at Concordia Stadium. We thank you for joining us here on the Cougar Sports Network. I'm Ryan Fahey with you here in River Forest, Illinois. On a partly cloudy day here on this Saturday afternoon. On the kick there was Andrew Coley. And it'll be James on the return. And he'll be stopped right at the 25-yard line. I believe that was Jalen Rito that brought him down there on the special team side of things for Lakeland. So the second offensive drive of the day now for Concordia Chicago. Didn't see Lance Moise as you see him jogging out there with Griffin Beaudet on the right side of your screen. Didn't get a touch on that initial drive. We'll see if that's going to change here. As the ball will be lined up at the far hash at the 26-yard line. Two wide receivers set to the bottom of the screen, and here goes Moise up the middle, and oh, he was ready to break free on that one as he got taken down ahead of the 30. Making the tackle for the Muskies on that one was Damon East, the freshman from Maryville, Indiana. So a 5-yard run there from Moise as he tries to close in on the career rushing record. He's still got a ways to go, but it could be broken at some point in 2019 as Moise at it again, making some moves down the sideline, and at midfield he gets taken down for a Cougars first down. Feeding the beast is Griffin Beaudet, trying to get this offense moving. As we saw that with Lakeland on their first drive, had a 3-and-out stall, and then it was their second drive where things got to going. And we'll get one more look at that Lance run. And you can never not replay Lance Moise runs that get you first downs and more. As he broke out to the far side there, as we get back to action here, as on the catch, getting in deeper to Muskie's territory on that one was Eric Hoff, who was the reigning conference freshman of the year a season ago. And that was Hoff's first catch of the day so far. It was a 9-yard reception. That'll put him a yard short. So Baudette trying to mix it up here play-wise, as Martins is now the running back at the right hip with a couple of guys switching. And now there's going to be 4 wide receivers set right. 1 out to the left, and Martin's now back in. Martin's going to get the run, and he is going to go nowhere. A sea of white brings him down. As that was McNeman Vincent, number 59, with the initial hit on Martins. As Moise now back out on the field. Be 3rd down and short. Be 3rd down and a couple of yards here. Need to get to the 40 to convert. As Baudette will give this to Lance, and he's going to be stopped. A big stop by this defensive line of the Muskies to force a 4th down. That was Washington Vivanco, the 6-foot senior lineman from Houston, Texas, on the stop, making his 8th tackle of the season. As that pushes them back a couple of yards to make it 4th down. Be a 4th and 4. Need to get to the 41 rather to convert this. Ball just ahead of the 45. The wide receiver set to the top side of your screen. As it looks like that's the Cougars trying to get the Muskies to jump, but they don't. And a timeout will be called by Concordia Chicago. It'll be their first of the half. They'll have 2 remaining. So it looks like the special teams unit is going to come out. Rabus will go out and punt this one, as Baudette was trying to get the Muskies to jump, and it did not work. So quickly the special teams unit out there for Concordia Chicago, while the Muskies will take their breather as long as they can. Mentioned as well, we said no Jackson Aubrey today for Concordia Chicago. Mentioned no Paisley out there as well, as Macy and Carter let us know in our pregame show as in terms of the injury updates for this Cougars team. Some of the notable ones that you see more often than not. As Rabus will have this punt. Be a high one inside the 20, and a fair catch has been called. As the fair catch is made at the 12-yard line, and that's where the Muskies will take over. The opportunity mentioned to speak with head coach Jason Aubrey over the phone yesterday in preparation for the contest today, and asking him about the bye week stuff. Making sure just kind of focusing on me first mentality, that being his team, and not really focusing too much in on the matchup versus Lakeland during the bye week, more so just fine-tuning the things that they can control from their side of things. Has had a nice weekend off Friday and Saturday last week during the bye. Is on the first play of this drive, carrying the carry ahead down the sideline there was Rivers. As a tackle was made, looks like just ahead of the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot, and actually it looks like they're going to spot him about inches short. Or actually it's going to go back a couple of yards. Either way, a decent first down run there for Larry Rivers, the junior from Dearborn Heights, Michigan. 2 backs in the backfield is on this 2nd and 2. Tunnery will keep this himself, and he'll get forward for the first down. Flag comes out behind the play. So we'll see what the flag is here in a moment. That's on the center, Jonah Carlson, who was a second-team conference all-lineman a season ago, the 6'4", 355-pound lineman. Carlson, the senior from Kingsford, Michigan. So that'll be a 10-yard penalty to make it 2nd and 12. As we approach 7 minutes to go here in our opening quarter. Tenery on the snap, gives it to Rivers as he tried to get outside the numbers and got back to the original line of scrimmage for 3rd down. That was Henning on the tackle. Now has 31 on the season in his senior year. Mentioned he's also got 2.5 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. And that forced fumble came back in the home opener against Olivet College. So gain of 4 on the run from Rivers, making it 3rd down and 8. A 3-wide receiver set to the right side. This is going to be an option toss to the left side, and the Cougars sniff it out. That'll force a 4th and long, as that was on the tackle, Gustavo Alba, number 42, bringing him down. And that'll send out the punting unit for the Muskies. Kyle Erickson to punt this away, the 6'1" senior. And that is not a good punt. That even takes a Cougars bounce inside the Muskies' 30-yard line. A shank by the senior gives the Cougars an added bonus, down by 7. A tee shot in golf looking like it went wrong. A punt there, not good. So Griffin Beaudet and this Cougars offense working in tremendous field position. First drive today starting in opponent territory. Ball officially at the 27-yard line. So a punt there of only 15 yards. As Beaudet on first down, looking to the end zone, it is caught! Touchdown Concordia Chicago! Samaj James with the reception, his first of the season, and the Cougars immediately strike. A 27-yard score. And now the Cougars are an extra point away from tying this with 5:45 to go. Lechuga to kick it, and it's a rather low one, and it is no good. A push to the left, so it will remain a 7-6 score. But a nice start. Off the shanked punt, it was Beaudet to James on a nice corner route to the end zone. And a great throw from the junior and Beaudet. Gets the Cougars within 1. With 5:45 to go here in the first quarter of action. And our crew behind the scenes today. Got Carter Gladhill, who helped with our pregame show, as our producer today, running the replays that you just saw. You know, Michaela Tilton and Ryan McGee on our cameras. Our spotter, Macy Klein, up here in the booth as well. Mentioned her prediction in our pregame show, I believe was 26-21 was the prediction you made for the game today? 24-21, okay, I was off by a couple points. I believe it was Cars that said 26-21, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, somebody said 26. So Lechuga now to kick this one away after missing the point after, as he'll kick this off from his own 35. As the return will be taken ahead of the 40-yard line. So now the Muskies will have decent field position start this drive after allowing the touchdown from Bodette to James. Mentioned Charltez Nunnery, the junior from Liberty, Mississippi, missed the game last week to injury, so the freshman Jaden Wilson had the start in the loss. And for Lakeland's purposes, it was nice to have their usual starter back out there. Lane Sobieski, the freshman, was the backup last week, and he's third on their depth chart for today. As Nunnery here on first down. He's got room in the pocket, throws down the field, incomplete. He wanted his intended target, Mason Prunick, but that one was overthrown to bring up second down. You had Casey and Henning back there in coverage, in addition to Demetrius Rufus. So that brings up second down and 10 here from the 44. As we approach 5.5 minutes to go in our first quarter of action. One man in the backfield as the throw to the right side is complete. And a good tackle there from Casey, bringing him out of bounds to make it third down. Catch there made by Eddie, who just like his teammate Larry Rivers was a first team all-conference member in his junior season a year ago. So this will bring up third down and 8. Two wide receivers each side. Nunnery all alone in the backfield. Is on this third down and 8. Pressure comes from Henning, and down goes Nunnery. That's now 3.5 sacks for the 6-foot senior linebacker, and the Muskies have to punt. So Erickson will punt this after on the last punt he had, it was, well, not a good one. And on the following play, it led to that touchdown to James, as this one a much better punt that Caleb Casey calls for as a fair catch, right at his own 31-yard line. So with this offense coming back out there, mentioned Lance Moise a lot. He's got a career 43 rushing touchdowns, which currently is tied for the school record. It'd be nice to see it have him break the record here at home, along with the rushing record as well. But of course, however you break it, it's still an impressive feat, nevertheless, whether it's at home or on the road. As Moise, who was in the backfield, motions out. As 4 are now set to the far side. 5 on the play clock here. As Bodette will throw quickly to James on the far side. And he'll be taken down just short of the 35-yard line. Going back there was number 30 and Jesse Olivis, the first-year player from El Paso, Texas. Making it second down. As Bodette will give it to the aforementioned Lance, and he'll be stopped ahead of the 35 to the 37. And that brings up third down. Getting them there on the tackle was the defensive tackle, Sam Bartlett, who's got 14 coming into action today, along with 3 sacks. Actually, the team leader in sacks is Bartlett, as we mentioned. So off the run there of a couple, it'll bring up third down. As Bodette airing it downfield, and that one will fall incomplete. They wanted Pinellas in coverage, as that one was overthrown. As out there was number 23 for the Muskies and Andrew Cardell, the sophomore from Needville, Texas. As you take one more look at that play, as that one was just overshot. So that brings up fourth down for Rabus to punt away. as we have just over 3 minutes to play here in our first quarter of action. Ravens with a line drive punt that's going to bounce in favor of Concordia Chicago, and that's going to work out really well. And that's going to be placed just inside the 10-yard line. So a nice punt there from the first-year player, Levi Rabus. And since we have a moment while the Muskies offense will come on out to the field, Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University Chicago Athletics. Make sure to visit them on North Avenue in Melrose Park. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken. And I'm not sure what was said outside of my headset, but I don't want to start a chicken sandwich war right now. We'll let the fine folks who are tuning in, they can war with themselves on social media. As this one is a handoff up the middle to Rivers, as he gets a nice run there ahead of the 15-yard line to make it second down. Although if Chick-fil-A was brought to the booth, I would not complain. So a gain of 6 on the run there from Rivers. Mentioned a first-team all-conference member a season ago in his sophomore season. Second down, and Nunnery is going to keep this one himself. Scamper around a couple defenders for the first down. Pushing forward more, and forward progress will stop him at the 26-yard line. Jason Duran Jr., number 57, on the tackle. So new set of downs for Lakeland, up by a score. Only difference as to why it's not tied was a missed point after attempt from Lechuga. As Nunnery will quickly throw to the right side as the check down to Rivers is complete ahead of the 35. And he gets taken down at around the 40. So that'll move the chains yet again. And another first down for Lakeland. Lakeland has out first downed the Cougars on the season 52-41 coming into action today as that run went nowhere for Rivers. And I think for Concordia Chicago against their opponents this season, in terms of the first down department, they've gotten 41 first downs compared to only allowing 18. Off that nothing gain on first down. Rivers again, and he'll be taken down right near the 45. Henning on the tackle. Brings up third down and 6. So we approach the minute mark to go here in our opening quarter. Nunnery getting the call from his coordinator, Eric Tresky, in his 5th season as the offensive coordinator, his 7th overall season with the coaching staff of the Muskies. As on this third down, Nunnery, pressure comes, he steps up and he gets taken down. Ball comes out, it's a live ball, and the Cougars fall on top of it. Fumble recovery made by Concordia Chicago, Tyler Dudley. His first of the season. Dudley, the sophomore from Katy, Texas, gives the Cougars now a chance to start now with Muskies field territory they're in to try to take the lead. Moise in the backfield with a receiver out to each side. Bodette on the fake. It'll go to Moise on the far side. And he'll get stopped at the 40. Just joining us, a 7-6 score. 31-yard touchdown reception to Bryce Kensley and a 27-yard touchdown reception to Samaja James And a missed point after from Concordia Chicago is our difference in the ball game so far. As on second down, it's Lance Moise again. And Lance Moise down the sideline. Lance Moise just short of the 20-yard line. First down, Cougars. He was pushed out on the play by Trevian Smith, the junior from Griffin, Georgia. And that will do it for our first quarter of action. So the first quarter ends with a nice run, and I'll sound like a broken record saying that, by Lance Moise, a nice run. As they'll switch sides of the field, and we'll be getting set for second quarter action here momentarily. And folks, if you're looking for something following a Cougar game to do, head on over to Doc Ryan's on Madison Street in Forest Park. Doc Ryan's, always there for all of your post-game needs. 7-6 our score. And actually, as I promised, and I did say that if Chick-fil-A was brought to the booth, I wouldn't have been upset, but there you go. So as they'll be switching sides of the field, it'll be Concordia Chicago going left to right. Here on offense, as the ball will be spotted at the Muskies' 21-yard line. Mentioned Lance has tied the school record for rushing yards in a career with 43. He gets one, the record is all to him. Moise, he must have heard me. He's got the school record. Career rushing touchdown number 44, 424. As they just make mention of the school record on the public address announce, crowd showing its appreciation, and now the Cougars, 5 seconds into the second quarter, have a 12-7 lead. And they're going to stay out there for the two-point conversion attempt. As now Pinellas runs out onto the field. Only 4 seconds here on the play clock. And whistle, and I think a timeout has been called. Yep. So a timeout's been called, and not often do you see a timeout called for a two-point conversion. And here is the record-breaking touchdown for Lance Moise. So as the timeout was called, it didn't look like the Cougars were set there on that two-point conversion attempt to try to make this a 14-7 score. Does appear they will look to try that one. So the offense back out there yet again. Man goes in motion as Bodette will roll to his right. Pass is wide open, and the two-point conversion is successful, as making the easy catch there was Corey Dooley. So the Cougars in business 5 seconds into the second quarter, as they now lead 14-7. So for Lance, that's rushing touchdown number 10 on the season. As he's now got 71 yards on the ground today on 7 carries. Mentioned Tyler Martins, who was the hero last week in the win over Finlandia, has a couple of runs himself. So Lechuga will be out there to boot this one away from his own 35. Crowd fired up here at Concordia Chicago. And this one a hop kick that is going to land right at about the 35. And not much on that return for maybe a few yards on it. Kind of a squib kick style from Lechuga. So Cougars up 14-7. And with his help brought together on defense by the fumble recovery from Tyler Dudley, that's really started to get things going on both sides of the ball for Concordia Chicago overall. Receiver out to each side and 2 men in the backfield. As Nunnery will give this one off, and it will go to Eddie, who looks to break outside and cuts in for a moment. And the Cougars will swallow him up just ahead of the 45-yard line. It was Adam Hernandez on the initial hit. Some words being exchanged as well between Eddie and Hernandez after the play. Didn't look like anything too serious, though. So it was a gain of 8 on the run there from Desmond Eddy. And now it's Rivers lowering his head up the middle, and he gets the first down into Concordia Chicago territory. Ball be spotted at the Cougars' 48-yard line. Two wide receivers to each side. As Rivers now will go out in motion, and Nunnery will roll to his left, and he's going to run it ahead of the 45, and he'll run out of bounds at the 40. So a gain of 8 there on the keep from the junior quarterback, who's not afraid to rush the ball. Coming in today, he's had 20 carries for 51 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. So a quarterback who's got more rushing touchdowns than throwing coming into action today. Not often would you see that as a stat line. As this throw will go to the right side for Eddie. He's got the first down and more as Eddie gets inside the 30 and wrapped up just before the 25-yard line. Caleb Casey on the stop. So the ball at the Concordia Chicago 27-yard line, as Nunnery is trying to keep this train moving on offense. 2 wide receivers set to the left as Nunnery looking, wanted to throw deep, can't. Right side, it's Eddie with the catch for a first down, and bear wrestled to the ground there by Rufus on the tackle. And another first down for Lakeland. And there you get a look at the man who's got the most rushing touchdowns in this program's history, Lance Moise, number 24. Although you know right now he doesn't care about setting that personal record. He just wants to help get the team win. As there was a flag thrown rather late after the throw. It's going to be a holding call against the Muskies, so that's going to negate the throw and back up Lakeland. So that'll push them now back all the way to the 38-yard line, or rather 37-yard line, excuse me. So this will be a 1st and 20 after the 10-yard holding call. Rivers will get the carry, and Rivers is going to get a lot of this yardage back after the penalty, and he falls forward ahead of the 25-yard line for a nice run on that 1st and long. So to bring up 2nd down and a much more manageable for Lakeland. So on this 2nd and 7 was a run of 13 there by Rivers. Eddie will get the handoff here, and he is going to be right near the mark for the 1st down. He's going to be just short, make it 3rd down. Third and short, we'll see if the Cougars can make a stop defensively. Nunnery with two wide receivers set left. As he'll drop back. He wanted the end zone, can't. Still looking, scrambling. Left side, pass is dropped. Incomplete. It was Prunick who had it, but then dropped it, took his eyes off the ball for a split second, and that brings up fourth down. Should have been a first down easily there for the Muskies after the great scrambling from Nunnery, but catch was not made. Offense going to stay out there on this 4th and short. Can this defense make a stop? Rivers up the middle on 4th down, and he dives forward for a Muskies touchdown. An 18-yard score, and his 3rd of the season for the junior Larry Rivers. As that rather silences this Concordia Chicago crowd. As this one, that one didn't go as planned, and that'll be a missed point after. So each team now with a miscue. And now it's Concordia Chicago holding on to a lead because of a missed point after. Get one more look at that. Is that one a nice block on the side there of Tyler Creamer? And my conversation with head coach Jason Aubrey yesterday, he's been really sold on the improvement that Tyler Creamer in his first season has made here as the season has gone along, and right on cue, he gets the block on the point after. So the Cougars hold on to a 1-point lead here with 11:24 to go in our first half of action. And a very special halftime is going to be taking place here. We'll talk about it in a little bit just after the kickoff. As if you're perhaps an alum of Concordia Chicago tuning in, or know the rich history of some of the athletic programs that have been here over the past few decades. As this return will be taken just ahead of the 20-yard line. So as we have a moment here, I mentioned that the football team from the 69 season, this is their golden anniversary year here in 2019. It was a team that, being on at halftime, they went in their 69 season, they had gone 7-2, which was the winningest season at that point in program history. They scored 100 points in their first 3 games in wins over North Park, Rose Poly, and Lake Forest. They were at that point in the beginning of the season in total. Mention some of the names that'll be honored here in a moment as well. As on the second down, Bodette to the left side for Lance Moise. He can catch the ball too, and there he goes down the sideline. Another first down for Lance Moise in this Cougars offense. That is Lance's first reception of the contest here this afternoon. And get one more look at that one as you'll see Lance just break out to the left and use that speed around as they get towards midfield. Quick throw left side, and that one is caught just short of the 50, as that was Dooley on the reception. Some of the notables being honored here today, some of the fine guests of the football program. The head coach, the late Conrad Allman, his son will be here, who was part of the class of 1982. James Almond is here at Concordia Stadium today. Al Herman also here in attendance as well, who was a coach of football, basketball, and cross country for nearly 40 years from the class of 1964. As Moise tries to spin out of a tackle, but he's going to lose a yard actually. And that brings up third down. Jim Braun also here today as well, along with Ron Zernicki, who was a All-American lineman for that 69 Cougars football team. And a member of this Concordia Chicago Hall of Fame in the athletics, Tom Mansky, the class of 70, also here as well. Third down and 7, aired out downfield. Almost a one-handed grab, but it's going to fall incomplete. As that was Dooley who almost made the incredible left-handed catch. As that was a tough throw to try to fit that one through. As you had Combs back in coverage, and you'll get one more look at that as the punting unit will come out here for Concordia Chicago. Is that one just about a hair long on that one? If that was maybe a hair less on power, that perhaps could have been caught really. So the Cougars punt here on this fourth down as Rabus gets this one inside the 20. And on the return here for the Muskies, getting out to the far side is Bryce Kenzie ahead of the 35-yard line. And that's where the Muskies will take over. And you get a look at the head coach of the Cougars, who supporting his team and having that fiery energy on the sidelines. And Jason Aubrey in his first season with the team. So first down and 10 as we have just under 9 minutes to play here in the half. As Rivers will get the carry, finds a hole somehow, and he'll be stopped just short of the 40. I mentioned Rivers getting most of the carries here today. He had 7 back in the first half for 43 yards. And his longest run came on an 18-yard touchdown run to get the Muskies within a point. As on second down, Nunnery, that one hit from behind. And that'll fall incomplete. As getting there pressure-wise was Tim Ray, the sophomore. And whistle's blown around, and I'm not sure what the holdup is. Looks like they're going to reset the clock to 8 minutes and 10 seconds. So they do that. We'll get one more look at the pressure here. And just a correction on that. That was Jelani Warner on the initial hit coverage there from the line side of it to Nunnery. Either way, third down, Rivers, and he scampers and dives ahead of the 45 for a nice first down. As Rivers has bailed out the Muskies, did it on a fourth down conversion that ended up being a touchdown run. And there on third down gets him a new set. Nunnery facing the pressure. Screen play to the right side is caught. That was number 85 and Jalen Rito, the sophomore from Houston, Texas, on the catch as the Muskies went quickly there after getting the first down. Flag has been thrown. Get this sorted out here in a moment. And we'll see what the call is going to be here in just a moment. Cody Adams, our head referee. That's Julian Ramirez, the 6'4" freshman, called for it. So either way, it would have been an essential free play for the Muskies after the flag had been thrown. So it is going to be a first down. The Muskies do accept the penalty, so it will be a 1st and 5 because of the illegal substitution. Rivers splits out to the left. Empty backfield for the junior quarterback, Shartez Nunnery. Nunnery to his left is going to oversail that one of Rivers. And that'll bring up 2nd down. Rivers with a couple of reception yards today, catches I should say, as there's an injured Cougar down on the field. Clock stopped at 7:40 here in our first half of play. Didn't see who it was that went down for the Cougars on that one after the incompletion there from Nunnery to Rivers. And so you get a look at Charles Watkins, the defensive coordinator, with his defense there in his first season at the helm. Both sidelines down to a knee in honor of the injured Cougar out on the field. Appears to be a right leg injury from what it looks like up here in the booth. That was Marcus Nickel, the 6'2" freshman that was down on the play, and he'll be helped off on the sidelines. Marcus Nickel, the first-year lineman from Miami, Florida. So that would likely mean that behind him in the depth chart would be Julian Ramirez, another first-year player. So we may see a little bit more of him on the defensive line. Although we saw him earlier that got called for the illegal substitution. So as we get back to play, it'll be 2nd down and 5 as Rivers on the handoff will take it just short of the 45-yard line into Concordia Chicago territory, short of the first down. So to bring up 3rd down and short, they've been going to the well of number 2 in white on these 3rd down conversions. Lakeland was 0 of 4 on 3rd down in the first quarter, and they've made every one since here in this second. As this one, a throw to the left side for Eddie. He's got space in front, and he will pick up the first down. And he'll pick it up based on the forward progress at the 43-yard line. Under 7 minutes now to go. 14-13 our score in a tightly contested conference opening ball game here in River Forest, Illinois. So a new set of downs for the Muskies at the Cougars 43. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 out to the right. And now as Rivers motions out, Nunnery will take the snap. Over to the right side. Oh, and trying to jump it there in coverage for Concordia Chicago was Mark Hogan. But he was a hair late to trying to make a play on it. As that was on the reception, and Bryce Kenzie, who had a 31-yard touchdown reception back in the first quarter, get the first down. Shotgun set again. As now Rivers will get the handoff up the middle, and he'll be stopped at the 25. So a 4-yard gain on the run there for Rivers. Three wide receiver set to the left side of your screen. As Nunnery facing pressure, ball comes out. He recovers his own miscue. As Rufus helped bring the pressure. And that'll make it 3rd down and long. Going to be a loss of about 9 yards on the sack. We'll mark him at about the 35-yard line. So 3rd down and 16, 3 wide receiver set right. As pressure comes again, ball out again, Cougars recover. The pressure coming heavy from this Charles Watkins-led defense, as that's 2 fumble recoveries today for Concordia Chicago. Get one more look at that. We'll see who fell on top of it. As again, the pressure came. Alba got the initial hit on him. As mentioned, Gustavo Alba got the hit. As there was about 7 men trying to pressure on in. Either way, Cougars ball, 1st and 10. Bodette, a little behind Pinellas, but he was able to adjust and make the catch just short of the 50. Remember, too, if the Cougars can score, this can loom large, as they did win the coin toss and deferred to the second half. Megaphone and cowbells in hand today. After the 5-yard reception, 2nd down, Moise on the carry. Gets outside the numbers for a gain of a few. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. Tackle there was made by the Muskies, number 23, and Andrew Cardell, excuse me. Cardell coming in today with 11 tackles, an interception, and a couple of pass breakups. Cougars need 2 to convert, and why not give it to the career rushing touchdown leader as he delivers deeper into Muskie territory for 1st down. Under 4 minutes to go in the half. Again, we'll have the halftime ceremony for the 69 football team that was part of a dominant run in the latter end of the 60s, along with that great 10-game winning streak. As Bodette, over the middle, tight window is caught. That was James on the catch, lunging forward ahead of the 35. Gain of 6 on the reception, as we now approach 3 minutes to go. Moise coming into the backfield. He'll get the carry. Gets around one tackler, gets around a second for another Cougars 1st down. Lance Moise doing Lance Moise things. As you see him, number 24 on your screen. Moise, the senior from Coral Springs, Florida. 5'11", 210 pounds. But he plays a lot bigger than a man who's at 5'11", as looks like it's going to be a false start and back up the Cougars 5 yards. Now one on Danas Pinellas, the wide receiver on the near side of your screen. So now it's backed up to the 35, 1st and 15. Bodette, left side, Dooley, and that's caught. Be 2nd and 11 right at the 31-yard line. As we now approach 2 minutes to go here in the half. Second down and 11. 2 backs in the backfield as James is going to get the carry this time. And there he goes down the sidelines with a burst of speed into red zone territory. Rather, looks like they're going to mark him out of bounds short as he went into that 4th gear. So the clock now is going to be put back to 150. Get one more look at that run there by James with that great burst of speed as you see there down the sideline on the far side. As this one will be a 1st down run on 3rd down. And now in the red zone territory go the Cougars. Once again, that was Moise on the carry. One timeout here for the Cougars. With 3 wide receivers set to the right side. Bodette to his right. He's going to keep it, and he'll go out of bounds right ahead of the 15. Good awareness there from Bodette just to take something out of it. As the junior from St. Joseph, Michigan gets a gain of 3 to make it 2nd and 7. Force set on the left side for a moment, then Moise comes to the backfield. And a toss to the end zone. Oh, a miscommunication with Bodette and Pinellas, as that'll be an interception for this Muskies defense. That was Jake Rykow on the interception, the senior from Brighton, Colorado. And we'll see here just maybe a little overthrown in the process too, but a big momentum stopper for Concordia Chicago as that was intercepted in the end zone, so it'll be marked as a touchback. So now the Muskies take over at their own 20. As Rivers will get the carry, trying to switch fields, but he can't do that, and he gets negative yards because of it. So a loss of about 3 on the play. Tackle there was made by Colston Ethan Poa, the junior defensive end from South San Francisco, California. As we approach a half minute to go here in the half, pass is caught by Eddy, and Eddy ahead of the 30. Flag is thrown. Currently a 1st down for Lakeland. The flag is thrown over at the 24-yard line. And it looks like this one may be coming back. It's Mason Prunick, who had a crucial drop catch earlier in the first half, which was an attempt on a 3rd down conversion. Gets called for the holding there. So now the Muskies backed up now inside their own 15 at the 13-yard line. Clock will continue to run under a half minute now to go. So far, a tightly contested first half in this conference opener between the Muskies and the Cougars. Possibly the final play of the half is Nunnery's run up the middle, and he's stopped short at the 17, and that is going to do it for our first half of action. With that being said, though, in this first half of play, a record was broken and won for the ages. A Lance Moise touchdown, a career rushing record touchdown, 44th, a program record, has helped the Cougars to this 1-point lead at 14-13. We'll take our halftime break, and we'll come back and get you set for second half action and a whole lot more as the Cougars lead it by 1, 14-13, here on the Cougar Sports Network. Fun. I hated that you were eating Chick-fil-A next to me because it smelled so good.
Sorry, I've been drinking all day. I was like, I like saw you look over. I was like.
No, there's people like that. You're cool, okay. Mike isn't on because of all the stuff over there. So, Brian, if you want to All right, thank you, Carter. As we now get all set here for second half action, it's a tightly contested game between the Cougars and the Muskies here on the Cougar Sports Network on this Saturday afternoon in River Forest, Illinois. I'm Ryan Fahey with you. Take a look at some of the stats through one half of play. Griffin Bodette getting the start today in place of the injured freshman quarterback Jackson Aubrey. Bodette today 9 of 14 for 86 yards, a touchdown pass, and an interception thrown. Although really the main story for what this Concordia Chicago offense is and has been about is number 24. You see him on your screen right there, Lance Moise. 12 carries for 85 yards, and this touchdown that has set the school record for the most touchdowns in a career in program history that occurred 5 seconds in to the second quarter of play. Of course, a congratulations out to Lance, and you know he is not done here in his senior campaign of 2019. Mentioned 12 carries, 85 yards for Lance. Tyler Martins has only gotten a couple of carries today after the great performance he had in the win last week a couple weeks ago against Finlandia when he had 37 carries for 247 yards. And as we flip the other side of the coin to the Muskies, Charlottez Nunnery, the quarterback, 8 of 12 for 85 yards and a touchdown throw. Larry Rivers has led the way running-wise, 15 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. And leading the way reception-wise is Bryce Kenzie, 2 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. So the Muskies will be kicking this one right to left. Concordia Chicago will return this left to right. Again, our great crew on hand behind the scenes. Our pregame show host, Carter Gledhill, who's our producer, Macy Klein, our spotter up here in the booth, working very hard. Our camera operators today, Michaela Tilton and Ryan McGee, and our stats provided today by Danny Gargilio. And as we're underway for the second half, it'll begin with a touchback. So here comes Concordia Chicago with a 1-point lead in the conference opener here in 2019. As after this, Concordia Chicago will hit the road for a couple of weeks before returning home for homecoming on the 26th when Concordia University, Wisconsin comes to town. So a battle of the Concordias on the 26th, and we'll have that 1 o'clock kickoff for you, and Carter and Macy will have your 12:40 pregame show for that as well. Hopefully more live stuff from the fine pregame show hosts we have here, Carter and Macy. Maybe we'll get them to do halftime and postgame shows. You never know. We'll make it happen. Make Macy more nervous. As the first offensive play of this second half is a run to Moise, as he gains a couple on that one to bring up second down. Mentioned Lance also closing in on the career rushing yards record. He's a little over 300 yards to get there. So there are very good chances that he would be breaking this, assuming all goes in his favor on the road before returning back here for homecoming weekend. As on the 2nd and 7, it's Moise again, lowering the shoulder as he got over one defender. As that one on the stop there in the end for the Muskies was Trevian Smith. Smith, the junior from Griffin, Georgia, was a gain of 6 on that run there for Moise. 3rd down and 1. Bodette, why not feed the beast? First down, Concordia Chicago, as Moise falls ahead of the 40. Tyler Martins now checks in as the back. As 2 wide receivers set to the top of your screen. Pinellas at the bottom. And in motion as Martins will get the carry, and he'll fall forward to the 43-yard line. Tyler Martins only having 2 runs on the ground in the first half. He gets his first touch of the second half there. Martin's coming into today with 283 rushing yards on the season. Again, he took the spot of Lance a couple of weeks ago in that win at Finlandia due to an ankle injury that Lance suffered. Lance has shown no signs of that ever affecting him, as you see him right there getting twisted around after making the catch, lost a couple. And then I'll bring up third down. Just to finish up on Barnes, the junior from Greenwood, Indiana. He's been averaging 6 yards a run coming into action today. His longest run of the year was a 33-yard run that he had back in that win against Finlandia. So third down and 9. Three wide receivers set to the bottom as Bodette. It'll go to Pinellas. He's looking for blockers. He's going to get him. He gets away from them all too. Down the sidelines he goes. Pinellas, touchdown Concordia, Chicago. 58 yards on the connection and run. And it's now a 20-13 score. What a start for this Cougars offense here in the second half. Lechuga out for the point after. Snap a little high, but the kick is up, and it is good. Make it an 8-point score in favor of Concordia Chicago, 21-13. Let's get one more look at that one on the connection, as Pinellas with great blocking by his offensive lineman to set this one up, and then Pinellas turning on the Jets, and down he goes in for the score. And Pinellas, for his credit, he only had one catch for 5 yards back in the first half. So now he's got 2 for 63 and a score. As that only took 2 minutes and 56 seconds to complete on that drive. So Lechuga out there to kick this one away. Back deep, you've got Bryce Kenzie to return it. Energy restored here to the fans at Concordia Stadium. As Lechuga goes with the short kick, hits right at the 40, ball's alive, and I think Concordia Chicago's got it. No signal yet. We'll have to wait to see after this pileup. Cougars say they've got it. And it's going to be Muskie's football. Cougars on the field can't believe it, but either way, what in a kick there by Lechuga. It took the Cougars hop going towards them. And in the end, out of the mosh pit, in the aftermath, Muskies do keep the football. Let's get another look at this one. Just a short kick. As you see it up there in faster time. The big pile up in the end. And it belongs to the Muskies, who have the ball at their own 39. Nunnery to the left side for Eddie. He gets down ahead of the 50 for a quick Muskies first down. That was Dudley on the tackle. Although I think this one may be coming back, and it is. Prunick again getting flagged. That's his second holding call he's been called upon today. So that'll negate the catch and run. As now on this 1st and long, it's Eddie again, trying to get the screen set up. They get it set nice, and a flag comes in towards the end of the play on the far side of the field at the Muskies 41. And I think this one might be coming back. Another holding, this one on Bryce Kenzie. Not a lot of penalties from either side in the first half. 3 for 25 yards for Lakeland and 2 for 10 on the side of Concordia Chicago. But back-to-back holding penalties, that's not going to get the job done if you're Lakeland. So another 1st and long as Nunnery tries to step up, and he can't, and Alba brings him down. Gustavo Alba, the junior from El Paso, Texas, with his second quarterback rush of the day. He also forced a fumble back in the second quarter. So 2nd down and 18. Rivers, who has proven clutch in these long-to-go situations, is immediately met. He was stood up there by Jeremiah Glenn, number 79, for the Cougars. Glenn, the sophomore from Austin, Texas. He was also met up there with number 77, Darian Brown, the first-year player from Joliet, Illinois, in the southern suburbs of the Chicago area. It was only a 2-yard gain, 3rd and 16. Pressure comes again, air downfield, pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Desmond Eddy, as that was a play that really looked like Eddy should have had the catch on, but instead it does not work. You had Hernandez in coverage for the Cougars, and the Muskies will have to punt. Not a bad throw from Nunnery at all. As that one just, Eddy was not able to reel in. Erickson to punt this away. You've got Casey back deep at his own 30. Good punt as Casey will call for the fair catch at the 26-27 yard line. So the Cougars looking to continue and capitalize after a nice defensive stop. One of the things that head coach Jason Aubrey has talked about with this defense as it's progressed along this season, with Charles Watkins at the helm in his first season as the defensive coordinator, saying that this defense, looking at it, was very exotic coming into day one of camp. And when having the coaches meetings, he really wanted to make sure, like, all right, here's, if you're going to be throwing them at him, just got to make sure that they know what they're doing out there. And that's really been proven here today. So the Cougars offense back out there, 1st and 10. And it's Lance, and he is going to be immediately met. Washington Vivanco, number 52, with one of the few pressures on Lance there to bring him down. It was a loss of, I think, about 5 yards. So one of the bigger losses for Lance rushing-wise this season. So after the loss of 5 on the run from Lance, 10 minutes to go in the third, 2nd and 15. Bodette is going to keep it himself, and a nice run from Griffin Bodette. Gave himself up just ahead of the 30-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd down. So 3rd down and 6. We should get one last look at the Bodette run up the middle. Three wide receivers sit out to the bottom as Bodette throws. Pass is caught. It's Hoff, and he's got a 1st down. Hoff, who only had one catch for 9 yards, gets his second of the afternoon. And the Cougars get a new set of downs as they march towards midfield as we have 9:12 and counting to go in the third quarter. Moise at the right hip of Bodette. 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Moise gets the handoff. There goes Lance again! Ahead of the 40-yard line in the Muskies territory. First down, Concordia Chicago. Another big run from number 24 in maroon. Couldn't even get the replay shown him. This play's been going so fast as Moise on another run. It's a few yards. We'll see that big run again now from Lance since we have a second. And there he goes, just finding that little seam up the middle. As bringing him down there was Smith and Cardell. Gain of a few on that first down run from Lance. Ball at the 36. Cougars looking for their first home win of the season. With 3 wide receivers up top, Moise on the toss right side. Lance ahead of the 30 and took an awkward hit to the helmet, it appeared. Not anything vicious by any sense of it, but Cardell trying to bring him down. Looked like he may have just slapped the back of the helmet. Lance is okay. And it will be enough for another Cougars first down. Cougars had 8 first downs back in the first half. As with under 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter, Bodette steps up, takes it himself, takes a big hit short of the 20. As he'll fix his shoulder pad and get right on up. Bringing him down there for the Muskies was Shazan Crutcher, who is the team leader in tackles coming into action today with 25. Also leads the team in tackles for loss at 4. In the eye now, Martin's the running back. Or rather, I should say, instead of Martin's getting the run, that's going to be number 35 for Concordia Chicago. That's going to be Juan Uria, the sophomore from Spring, Texas, with his first run of the afternoon. And he'll be staying back there as the running back. So Martins and Moise getting a breather as the sophomore stays out there. Uria's going to get it again, and this time he's going to be stopped short on this third and short. Going to lose a yard, and it'll bring up fourth down. And now Lance, looked like he wanted to go back out there, and he is going to go out there for Uria. And looks like there may be an injured Cougar down on the field, and there is. It's Angel Garcia, I believe, that is slow to get up. So an injury timeout as you see the Cougar sideline down to a knee. Garcia sitting up on his own power. And you also get a look there as we have this moment. That's Marcus Nickel. We saw him get his leg wrapped up from underneath him earlier in the first half, and he had to be helped off the sideline. Good to see him back with the helmet in tow. Haven't mentioned his name yet here in the second half of play, but good to see him back out there. Great work by our crew to find him on the sideline, seeing how he's been doing. So 4th down and 2. As the offense is going to stay out there. Moise now back as the back. Cougars did not attempt a 4th down conversion in the first half. They're going to try for it here. And before that, though, Cougars call a timeout. As Jason Aubrey didn't see something he liked. So now the Cougars call their first timeout of the second half. They've got 2 remaining. Looks like the Cougars we're looking to intend on going for it here on 4th down. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit coming out of the south direction, so it's a little into the Cougars' face offensively. Partly cloudy day here at Concordia Stadium. As it's 4th down and 2, 6:10 to go in the third, 21-13 Cougars. Moise on 4th and 2, he's got it. And why not go to the well that has worked so efficient for you this season and in seasons prior to get you the new set of downs on 4th down. There's that 4th down conversion. There's nothing to it for the senior from Coral Springs, Florida. Land's still out there as he'll get the carry, and he's not going to get anywhere with it. May have lost a yard. So that'll bring up 2nd and long. An initial hint on him was Vincent, number 59. He mentioned the loss that he led the team in tackles for loss coming into today with 6. Only second to Crutcher's 4, who's back in the linebacker area. So in terms of linemen, Vincent has led the way this season. 2nd down and 11 as James goes in motion. Bodette looking left side. Pass is caught. It's Pinellas again. And it'll be 1st and goal for Concordia Chicago. So 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. As Bodette with 3 wide receivers set right. How does the goal line offense look here? It's Moise. Gets away from one tackler and adds on to the record books again. And it is career rushing touchdown number 45. Touchdown Cougars. Rushing touchdown in career number 45. Extra point is up, and it is good. His 11th on the season. As you get one more look at the man who is continuing to add on to his own records here in River Forest. And is he wearing is that a WWE title belt around him? It's a CUC Heavyweight Championship belt. Maybe a little small on him. We may need to get an extended waistband, but either way, I think we found our off-field highlight of the day. Although I will say, Lance, you may need to work on your dance moves a little bit. Nevertheless, though, 28-13 Concordia Chicago, and that's just the energy that's been brought on this sideline, and one of the things that Jason Aubrey, head coach, really wanted to install going forward. As the Cougars now lead by 15 with 4.5 to go in the third. Bit of a chip kick again, and now the Muskies kind of wisely calling for the fair catch at the 30 after what happened on the last kickoff, in which the Cougars nearly recovered it at about the 35 earlier in the quarter. So first down and 10 for the Muskies at their own 30. Three wide receivers set to the bottom, one at the top. As Nunnery to his left, that's short and incomplete. Wanted that one for his intended target in Teron Diggs, the first-year player from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Was trying to look for his first catch in his collegiate career. There was Daggs, excuse me. On second down, Rivers running his way ahead of the 40 for a tough first down. And a flag comes out after the play. There was a little bit of a skirmish behind the run between a Muskie and a Cougar. Didn't see who it was, though, as it was broken up after and rather quickly. Two flags are out there. We'll see who this goes on. Could be unsportsmanlike offsetting penalties, but we'll have to take a look by the referee's count of it. Muskies have started to back up, though, so they may think this is against them. .420 to go here in the third. So both of them go on the sophomore right tackle, Kendall Davis, for the holding and the unnecessary roughness after the play. So a big chunk of yardage lost by the Muskies, who are now racking up the penalty yards and are pedaling backwards towards their own goal line. It'll now be second down and 30. Nunnery will take the snap, and the pressure comes. He's got nowhere to go. He's taken down again by this defensive line of Concordia Chicago. Colin Salmon, number 99, bringing him down, and it brings up third and essentially a zip code to go. Ball way back at the 8-yard line, third down and 33. As now Nunnery on this third and 33 with 3:33 to go in the third. Play clock down to 1, and he just got it off as he's pressured in the end zone for a moment and just throws it away. Kenzie was his intended target out of bounds, and that'll bring up fourth down. So another excellent job by this Cougars defense that has become more comfortable in this system by defensive coordinator Charles Watkins. And they've looked better each and every week. Kyle Erickson to punt this away. Casey stands back at the Lakeland 45. And that one almost blocked. And Casey will call for the fair catch right at the 50. So now the Cougars up by 15 with 3:16 to go. Although there is I believe there may have been a flag thrown towards the end zone as the punter, Erickson, remember he was almost having it blocked and he took an awkward tumble. Right now I'm not seeing a flag on the field. Usually when you see the punter down, it can often lead to a roughing the kicker, or in this case, roughing the punter. But nothing's out on the field, so they believe it was a clean play. Because if it's a roughing the kicker, that would have been a penalty and an automatic first down. Roughing would just be a 5-yard penalty, not moving of downage. Oh. So there was a flag for it. And it is going to be a running into the kicker. But it mentioned it is only a 5-yard penalty. It was not roughing because it wasn't the plant leg. At first, it looked like Concordia thought it was going to still be Lakeland's ball, but because it was a running into the kicker, it's only a 5-yard penalty after the punt. As Kyle Erickson, the 6'1 senior, will jog this one off to the sidelines. The other punter on the team is number 87, Dooley Schuffner, the first-year player from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, so he may need to start getting loose. He wears number 87 for them. So the offense back out there for Jason Aubrey and the Cougars. The 2 wide receivers set to the right. Moise up the middle, and another tough run for the senior. In Muskie territory, short of the first down. As we approach 3 minutes to go here in the third. On the second and short, Moise up the middle again, and another first down run for Lance Moise. Running the ball at will is this Cougars offense, and getting nearly 6-7 yards almost every time, it feels like, when Lance touches it. Moise, why not keep giving it to him? Breaks away from one tackler, skips out of bounds ahead of the 30, and another good first down run by Lance. And now we have an injured Muskie. That's Sam Anderson, I believe, number 58, that's down. Anderson, the 5'10", 355-pound senior. The senior from Plainfield, Illinois, from the far southwest suburbs of the Chicago area, a product of Plainfield North. So an injury timeout here with 2:23 to play in the third quarter, 28-13 our score. A couple of touchdown runs from Lance Moise. Pinellas with a 58-yard touchdown reception and a touchdown run from Samaja James. Those are the 4 scores for Concordia. And the side of it for Lakeland, an 18-yard run by Larry Rivers and a 31-yard reception for a touchdown by Bryce Kenzie. And a missed point after attempt from each side has made it to a 28-13 score. Crowd giving a nice round of applause to Anderson, who will walk off on his own power. The clock will continue to wind there after the injury timeout. 2nd down and 2. It was an 8-yard run there for Lance. 2 wide receivers to the right. And Moise will get it again. Stutters around 1, but he's going to go nowhere, and he'll lose a yard. And that'll bring up 3rd down. So with that loss, they'll need to get to the 28 to convert. Bodette with pressure. Pinellas catch ahead of the 20, and a first down into red zone territory for the Cougars. Pinellas with another clutch catch. As coming into today, he's had nothing in the statistical department receiving-wise. And he has definitely changed that here today. Man in motion, Moise on the run right side. Lance Moise trying to gain the edge. Taken down at about the 15. Another good hard run. Gained about 6-7 yards on the play. Looks like they marked him at about the 13 and a half yard line. A minute to go here in the third. Second and 4. Moise on the run. Moise up the middle ahead of the 10. And the clock has stopped as he did get the first down, so they'll stop it to just set the chains. So they will have to run one more play here before the third quarter comes to a close. First and goal here at the 8. Will Moise add up to another rushing touchdown? They're going to go to Lance. Tries to deke through a defender. He gets taken down short of the 5, but that'll do it for the third quarter of action at Concordia Stadium. After 14 total points in the first half, another 14 in this third quarter alone for Concordia Chicago, as they put up the 14 unanswered here in this third quarter, and they go to the fourth with a 28-13 lead over the Muskies of Lakeland, here looking for their first home win of 2019. And for Lakeland University coming up, they'll be heading home to take on Concordia University, Wisconsin, as they have a home schedule coming up for the latter month of October. And while for these Cougars, they'll be hitting the road for a couple of weeks when they go to Aurora next Saturday, and then the following week, they'll be heading to Eureka on the 19th before they return home for the final 2 home games of the season. Homecoming is the 26th when they host Concordia University, Wisconsin, and then the following Saturday, the 2nd of November, when Wisconsin Lutheran comes to town for a 1 o'clock kick. So as we get set for the fourth quarter, here may be your third quarter highlight, really. As Lance is the world champion of Cougars offense in the running department. Don't show that to Brock Lesnar, though, because he may try to come steal that title and hold on to it for a ridiculous amount of time. There's my hot take of the day. Fourth quarter now underway. Second and goal. Bodette, right side, end zone, incomplete. He's looking for Pinellas, who took an awkward tumble to the turf, and he is hurt on the sideline. You see him on the far side of your screen there. I think he was favoring his right arm as he went out of bounds trying to make the catch there from the throw on Bodette. So we start off the fourth quarter with an injury, and it goes to Pinellas, who had the excellent run on the 58-yard touchdown reception earlier in the half. Pinellas will gingerly walk off. And Pinellas now will jog off on his own. Good show of sportsmanship there from some of the Lakeland defenders as well. So 3rd down and goal for Concordia Chicago. Tyree McKinney, the first-year freshman, has now checked in as the receiver for Concordia Chicago, top of your screen. Moise on the carry, and he's got nowhere to go, and he is stopped behind the 10-yard line. Muskie's read that one well, as Lechuga now will come out to attempt this field goal. Now you see Lechuga in set number 8. Kick will be about 27 yards out, as he'll be looking for his first field goal of the afternoon. Snap and hold are good. This one is a rather short kick, and it does just get over, and it'll be 3 points. However you get it, doesn't matter, 31-13. So a 31-13 lead for Concordia Chicago as they look to start off the conference season unbeaten and get their first home win of the year. Assuming this result can hold, the Cougars will improve to 3-1 on the year. So far, they've been unbeaten on the road, getting 2 wins at Beloit and at Finlandia. Lechuga to boot this one away. Is back deep once again is Bryce Kenzie, and another short kick that a knee he'll just be taken there just ahead of the 40-yard line for Lakeland. As that was Nick Rash who made the fair catch, the senior linebacker from Marion, Wisconsin. So Charltez Nunnery will try to find some kind of answers for Lakeland here offensively, down by multiple scores here in the 4th quarter. Two wide receivers stacked to each side. As this one on the right side on the run there was Eddie, as it was a gain of a couple. As Dudley made the initial stop. Correction, that was Rivers on the run, not Eddie. Second and 7. Two receivers stacked to the bottom as Nunnery going to air it over the middle. Pass is caught. And getting the first down into Cougars territory is Bryce Kenzie. And Kenzie a little banged up after that one, favoring his right arm, and he'll have to come off. So now coming into that spot is Jalen Rito. The sophomore from Houston, Texas, has to come in the spot for Kenzie. 1st and 10. Up the middle with it is Rivers to the 25. Another good run there from Rivers. He's well over the 100-yard mark. No huddle here. 3 wide receivers set out to the left for Nunnery. As the handoff goes to Rivers again, spins around a tackler, stays on his feet ahead of the 20, and lunges forward for more yardage down to the 17-yard line. now running down the sideline. Jason Aubrey wanted to call a timeout. And he'll get it. So that's the second timeout issued to Concordia Chicago. They'll have one remaining. As we have 12:48 to go here in regulation. 31-13 our score. 14 unanswered points in the third quarter for Concordia Chicago. Big headline today, Lance Moise breaking the career rushing touchdown mark. As he was coming into today tied at 43. He's now got 45 and has the record all alone to himself. And he pretty much knew sort of halfway into his junior season he was going to break it. And not just by maybe a touchdown or two, he was going to break it by a lot. And we're essentially just to the halfway point. So first down and 10 for Lakeland at the Cougars 18. As Nunnery will give this one to Rivers, who slips a couple tacklers ahead of the 10-yard line. He falls forward. As bringing him down at the end there was Marcus Nickel, and good to see Marcus Nickel back into the game as well. We saw him injure his right leg earlier in the game and had to be helped off the field. So now it's first and goal for the Muskies. Nunnery, end zone, and not looking for the ball initially, and after turning around was Rito, the 6'6" sophomore. So it'll be second and goal. So second and goal at the 7. Three wide receivers to the left, pitch to Rivers. Tries to cut up the middle, he does. Touchdown, Lakeland. His second touchdown run of the day. As there is life back into this Muskies team. It looks like they're going to stay out there to make this, to try to be a 10-point deficit, down 31-19. Two wide receivers to the right, ball at the far hash. Play clock down to 10. As Nunnery gives it to Rivers, and he's going to be short. Only got about a yard on it. Good job by this Cougars defense to stand tall. As there's an injured Cougar right at the goal line, as that's Earl McIntyre, number 6, as he's slow to get up. McIntyre, the starting sophomore in the free safety spot, coming into action today, tied for the lead in the secondary with 14 tackles and a forced fumble to his credit. Same numbers as Caleb Casey at the strong safety spot. McIntyre tried to get up on his own, but was just unable to do so. McIntyre, the sophomore from Smithville, Texas. Listen to sacred music anytime, anywhere on the LPR app. As McIntyre needing help off the sideline, favoring that right leg. Now the kickoff return will come out for the Cougars. as James and Casey go back out there. (31-19) after the 2-point conversion failed, as some of the Cougars sideline members dancing. That one bobbled for a moment just short of the 50, but able to fall on top of it for Concordia Chicago was Juan Urea. So good field position here for Concordia Chicago, up 31-19, and 12-18 to go here in regulation. So the ball will be officially set at the 47. Two wide receivers to the right, one to the left as Moise will get the run. Moise ahead of the 50, and he gets into Muskie's territory, second down. And we'll speak to head coach Jason Aubrey after the game. And now Lance Moise is not getting up. We mentioned he's been coming off of an ankle injury that he suffered at Finlandia. And he was limited in practice this week, and speaking with head coach Jason Aubrey yesterday. But they did that on purpose just as a precaution. And he was trying to tell the train staff that he was good, and he wanted to try to walk it off. And we know the work ethic of Lance Moise. He may just try to walk this off. He'll get a breather for a moment, and have to think he'll be back out there soon. So Juan Urea now back out there, the sophomore, at the running back spot. And now it's Urea on the run. Urea to the 45, and a nice run short of the first down, but a nice gain by the sophomore. Looks like Lance on the sideline, just off your screen here, just getting stretched out, maybe a cramp. Looks like they're looking at his right calf as Urea on the run again. He's going to be met right away, and down he goes. Sam Bartlett with the tackle for loss, and that brings up fourth down. So it'll be fourth down after the third down run by Urea that was a tackle for loss by Sam Bartlett. Rabus now will boot this away. So a much-needed stop there for the Muskies, trying to get back into this down by 12. As Rabus with a punt to the far side. And that actually is going to take a Muskies bounce. It stays in bounds. Short of the 30, but not the bounce that Rabus and the Cougars would have preferred. So the Muskies, who had the opening strike to begin the game today, have been rather silenced for the most part, but they have come alive here late in the third and now here early on in the fourth. Receivers stacked to the right side with another out there as well. Rivers on the run, and he finds a hole up the middle ahead of the 40 and a first down for Lakeland. And now we have another injured Cougar as they stopped playing, getting up rather right away as the play had come off, and because of the officials blowing timeout, checking off to the sideline will be Julian Ramirez. Mentioned he came in the spot there for Marcus Nickel, number 91, who got hurt earlier in the second quarter. We've seen Nickel back out there and make a few plays on some occasions in the third, but now Ramirez has to go get checked out. As on this first down run for Rivers, it'll be a short gain to make it second down. Gain of 3 on that run. 2nd and 7. It's Eddie now on the run. And Eddie fighting his way forward, and he got the first down into Cougars territory. So the chains will move yet again. 9:44 to go. Up the middle, Eddie again. A 9-yard scamper to make it second down in this Muskies offense, and Eddie didn't like something that happened after the play. No flag has been thrown. Doesn't mean Eddie took exception to something. But either way, second down and about a yard to go. Muskies in control. Throw to the left side is short, incomplete. Not a good throw there from Nunnery. So it'll be second down and one with, or rather third down and one, excuse me, with 9:16 to go. Two wide receivers each side. Concordia looking for a nice defensive boost here. As Rivers to the right side gets the first down. Muskies continuing to chug it on via the running game into Cougars territory. Muskies not going away quietly as we approach 9 minutes to go. Rivers stopped at the 35. Now bring up second down. Helping bring him down there was Jeremiah Glenn, the sophomore, number 79. So a gain of 2 on that run by Rivers. Nunnery, throw over the middle is caught. And getting around a couple defenders ahead of the 25, Lakeland gets another first down. Mason Prunick on the catch. This Concordia crowd a little worrisome at the moment, as Lakeland's been moving this ball at ease. New set of downs, and Nunnery with a smart keep gets taken down short of the 15. As that one was sniffed out, Alba was ready to put the pummeling on Rivers, but Nunnery wisely kept it on the RPO. Second and 3. Nunnery to Eddie, catch is made. Eddie trying to juke around, can't, fall short of the 15 because of those moves, and that'll bring up third down. He's trying to dodge around a couple defenders after getting a block instead of rather going for just the easy yards in front of him. See if that comes back to bite him. Third down and 2. Third and 2, Rivers. He will get the first down. He gets a lot more inside the 5. First and goal, Lakeland. First and 5, and that one incomplete on the first and goal play. They were looking there for the intended target of Christian Chapman. Second and goal. Rivers stopped, and down he goes. What a read there by the Cougars defense. As now flags come in after the play. A helmet came off in the process. As not happy there and being shoved away by his own teammates is Austin Watts, number 76. Tensions rising here in River Forest. So this will be sorted out by the officials. See if we can get another look at the play. So they do call unsportsmanlike conduct on Austin Watts, the 6'3" left tackle, as he had to be shoved away by his teammate Kendall Davis at the end of it. Let's get another look at that. You'll see it after the play had ended. As it's still 3rd and goal though, but way back at the 24. As you'll see, kind of towards the left side, just a little extra shove at the end there. And right there you see it. The extra hit at the very end of that replay is what did it. Good catch by our crew. 3rd and goal. Eddie on the run, and he stopped at the 20. Could that unsportsmanlike conduct cost the chance of Lakeland trying to come back? They're staying out there to go for it. They need the end zone here. It's 4th and goal. Crowd loud. Sideline jumping. Ball at the 20. Empty set for Nunnery. Pressure comes, spins out of it for a second. Nunnery looking, end zone, incomplete. Cougars will take over. What a read in the secondary by the Cougars defense. Nunnery had nowhere to go. And with 6:09 to go in the 4th, the Cougars take over at their own 20-yard line. You see how deep the secondary had played, nowhere to go again because you had to go to the end zone to convert on 4th down. The only option was the end zone for Lakeland. So it's 6:09 to go. Now it's just a matter of ball management here for Concordia Chicago. Up by 12, looking for their first home and conference win of the season. Moise up the middle, gets a couple. But what a great defensive stance, and the unsportsmanlike penalty on Austin Watts, the left tackle for Lakeland. Maybe the haunting memory of this game for the Muskies. Second and 8. Bodette kept it himself, and that wasn't the smartest option, as he got taken down for a loss. Austin NACC on the tackle, the lineman from Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin. So Austin Tank with the tackle to make it 3rd down and 12. It's a loss of 4 on the play as we approach 5 minutes to go. Three wide receivers set to the left for Griffin Bodette. Over the middle, pass caught by James. He's short of the first down, though. And we'll see how aggressive the play calling gets here for Jason Aubrey and Mark Peterson, the offensive coordinator for the Cougars. It was a 10-yard completion there to James. Lance Moise, the running back out there. You wonder if this may go to him. Although now, not much urgency being shown with 10 on the play clock, and it looks like the Cougars may call their final timeout here as the play clock winds down, and they do. So the Cougars call their final timeout. They'll need to get to the 31 to convert. Ball at the 29 right now. 4:09 to go. Just joining us, Lance Moise with the career rushing touchdown record all by himself. He needed to get to 44. He did so and added another to his credit today. And you kind of see at the bottom right side the moves. Having a little fun there on the sidelines is the sophomore Dwight Daniel. As this team is 4 minutes away from their first conference victory and first home victory of 2019. Punting unit now out on the field for Concordia Chicago. Rabus will boot this away. Punt that is going to be received, and a return of nothing on the play. So the Muskies take over with 3:59 to go, short of midfield. So now the Muskies offense still down by 12 with trying to get a little more redemption, at least in the side of Austin Watts, who had the unsportsmanlike penalty that really cost them that drive. And they got no points out of it. As on the reverse here, it's going to be Prunick on the run ahead of the 50, and he gets taken out of bounds into Cougars territory. There's a run of 9 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 1. Three wide receivers to the left, and Rivers will get the carry, and he'll spin his way for the first down. Same set again, 1st and 10, Lakeland. Nunnery, right side, incomplete. Excellent coverage there defensively by John Correa, who had his, looked like he almost had a fingertip on that one for the pass breakup. That would have been his third if they credited it to him. Correa, the sophomore from Opelika, Florida. Second and 10. Rivers spun around for nothing. Good play made, Colin Salmon, the junior. Crowd getting loud again. 3rd down and long. Under 3 minutes to go. Three wide receivers now to the bottom of your screen. Muskies on their last chances. Nunnery spinning around, staying on his feet, and he falls down on his own. Ball got loose. Nunnery's helmet came off, and it'll be 4th down, but now the bigger concern is the health of Nunnery, who took an awkward tumble to the turf. So it'll be 4th down and a country mile to go after all that scrambling for Nunnery turned out to be nothing in the end. Ball is now back at the Lakeland 45. Offense, of course, going to stay out there. You've got the two safeties in Casey and Correa back in their own territory, trying to not give up the big play. A chance for it to be the game here. As now Jaden Wilson has to take the snap here because Nunnery's helmet came off. He had to go to the sideline. So on this 4th and long, Pressure comes, stepping up, throw over the middle. It is caught! What a catch by the junior Mason Prunick. Muskies will not go away quietly. And the wind and energy out of this Concordia crowd has been silenced. So now it looks like under center is Logan O'Neill as the quarterback. Jump ball! It is intercepted in the end zone! Tyler Kramer! And that may be the icing on this cake today. Head coach Jason Aubrey, in my conversation with him yesterday leading up to kickoff, said he's been very high on what Kramer has done. As you see him winning that jump ball there. As he gets the interception, his second in his collegiate career in his first season with the team. And that may just do it here in River Forest. So Logan O'Neill coming in for those couple of snaps, the senior from Spokane Valley, Washington, thrown into one of the toughest situations you could have imagined. On that 4th and long, was somehow able to convert it to Prunick, but then the very next play, an interception in the end zone. So a minute 50 to go. Lakeland does have all their timeouts here, however, as Moise will get the handoff, and he's not going to get anywhere with it, as he lost a couple of yards on the play. I believe Lakeland did call a timeout with 1:42 to go. More words being exchanged here by some of the players and getting a little chippy here towards the end. Officials trying to seize control on this before anything gets really out of hand. There's been a great contested battle here today, and you don't want to see it end with some sloppy mental mistakes away from the game. So Lakeland gets called for the timeout. They've got 2 remaining. Cougars have none left. So now it's a matter of, can the Muskies try to make any stops here with the final 1:45 to go. Again, our next broadcast of Cougars football will come on October 26th. It'll be homecoming weekend here in River Forest, when it'll be the Battle of Concordias as University of Wisconsin comes to town for a 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have that for you here in our pregame show with our great pregame show duo, Carter and Macy. Maybe we'll get them to do a halftime and postgame show for that one, for homecoming. You never know. Put them to work a little more. I know Carter wouldn't mind. So it was a 3-yard loss there on the run from Lance Moise, who, again, he's been the story today. Now the all-time career rushing touchdown leader at 45. And he's got a long way to go to keep adding on to his own record. Second and 13 as now Martins will get the run. And he falls forward, and a flag comes out at the end of the play. And there's an injured Muskie down as well. Didn't see who it was that got injured. Clock stopped at a minute 40 because of the flag being thrown. Slow to get up there for Lakeland was number 59, McNeman Vincent. So we'll have this be sorted out here. Muskie's now going to their sideline, and Concordia Chicago staying out on the field. Now you get a look at our officiating crew today.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 95 of the offense. Half misses the goal, third down.
So an unsportsmanlike penalty after the play. And you really don't want to be taking these kind of penalties, especially late in this game when you've got control to try to just go ahead and end this on a positive note. So now they'll mark it off on the penalty here, and this will be all the way back now. 10-yard line all the way to the 9. So 100 seconds remaining here in our contest, and now it's going to be perhaps the Cougars backing up 5 more yards. Saw movement on the left side of the receiving core.
False start, offense, number 14. Half misses the goal, third down.
So they get that on Samaja James. So now the Cougars inside their own 5. Martin's the running back to Bodette. As Martins will get the run up the middle, and he falls forward to the 8. And Lakeland will call their second timeout. So Rabus will come on out to punt this away. Again, I want to thank our great crew. We mentioned Carter and Macy up here in the booth as our producer and spotter. Michaela Tilton on our cameras, along with Ryan McGee. And running our stats today is Danny Gargilio. Of course, the great work as well behind the scenes of Jim Egan and CJ Sellner. So Rabus and the special teams now will come out to punt this away with 1:34 to go. You're in the contest. As now the little nervous energy from the crowd here at Concordia Stadium. So you have to imagine the Muskies will be going for the onside kick. The one that's come late here in this game from both sides has been really crucial, because if you take away the one that occurred against Concordia Chicago, they wouldn't have had the Muskies have the ball in that territory where they started that last drive. And if you're Lakeland, you may have had an extra score on the board, if not for the unsportsmanlike that one on for Lakeland is going to be number 42, and Andrew Coley, the sophomore. He goes for the onside kick, and it takes a Lakeland hop. Ball still alive, and let's see who's got it. Both teams say they each have it. And no signal yet. Cougars think now they've got it. And they do. As Urea comes away to kick the ball to the sidelines. And a flag's going to be thrown for that, and the coaching staff is going to let them know of it too. Not a smart play there by Urea to celebrate in that fashion after coming away with the ball, as he'll get an earful. So Concordia does get the ball, but in a way that they may have not preferred. So the ball now back at the Concordia Chicago 39. Lakeland does have one timeout to go with 1:06 remaining in the ball game. Martin's the running back here for Concordia Chicago in the backfield. High formation set here for Bodette. He will give this one to Martins, who tries to fight to the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard, and now Lakeland will call their final timeout. So Lakeland calls their final timeout. So each team now with no timeouts left. So the Cougars, assuming this result holds, will get their first conference win of the season and their first home victory of 2019. And they'll take this winning momentum to Aurora University next Saturday for a 1 o'clock kickoff. As mentioned, they'll return home for homecoming on October 26th, which is another Saturday. And we'll have that for you for a 1 o'clock kickoff on homecoming weekend. And for these Lakeland University Muskies, who will have now dropped 2 in a row, will head back home next Saturday to take on Concordia University, Wisconsin for a 1 o'clock kickoff. So 2nd and 11 off the 1-yard loss. Well, through our receivers to the left, Martins will spin his way forward, and he'll gain nothing on it. As the Cougars will just need to run one final play, and that'll do it here in River Forest, Illinois. Victory formation now being set, as the Cougars will improve to 3-1 on the season and be unbeaten so far to begin conference play here in 2019. Bodette will take the knee, and that'll do it here in River Forest, Illinois today. Jason Aubrey gets his first win here at Concordia Stadium in his first season with the program. We'll have the chance to speak in a moment. He'll come up. Thoughts on the game here momentarily, as your final score. And the Muskies 26. So again, the Cougars led by Lance Moise today, who has set the career rushing touchdown record. Now has 45 on the season. And a job well done today filling in the void of the injured quarterback. Jackson Aubrey was the junior Griffin Bodette. As the offense looked pretty good in his control here today. So as we wait for Jason Aubrey to come up to the booth, Lakeland now, we mentioned them. They've now dropped 2 in a row as they return home, as they fall to 1-3 on the season, 0-1 officially now in conference play. And as mentioned, our next broadcast for Cougars football comes a little bit from now, when we be back here for homecoming weekend on the 26th, and we'll have that for you at 1 o'clock kickoff, and our 12:40 pregame show will commence then. We'll have the coverage for you at the same spot, cucougars.com/coverage. So as now joining us up here in the booth is the winning coach of your Concordia Chicago Cougars, Jason Aubrey. Before we get into the details of the game here today, it's your first home win as head coach.
Absolutely. That's a great thing. We tried to give it away there at the end there, but we'll take them any way we can get them.
I know, and I know a little closer score-wise towards the end than you may have wanted, but as we get into the finer details of this game, I can't be remiss, and I know you've mentioned this. I know he doesn't care about the records, but I got to bring it up. Lance Moise now has the most rushing touchdowns in program history.
Yeah. Lance is he's an amazing kid. You know, they got him a little upset at the end there, but he is a tremendous kid, and like you said, he doesn't care about the records or whatever. He just wants to play, and he wants to be a great teammate, and that's what's so great about him. So we love that dude, you know.
Now, is there maybe something, I know you guys will always want to refine things in practice, but you may want to refine his dancing moves, because I know he's got the title belt, and we saw the replay of his dancing. I don't know if you got a note of that in the third quarter or not, but you may want to tell him to work on that a little bit.
I'm sure he can find plenty of people to help him out with that. That's fun, but that's great, though. I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy the time out on the field. Football is the greatest game in the world. And if we can go out there and enjoy this game, you know, that's what we want. That's what it's all about right now.
You and I spoke yesterday about Griffin Baudet, who was getting the start today for you guys under center. He said he had this swag about him, and he knows right away what he can and can't do with his offense. Your assessment of your quarterback today?
I think he did well. I think that there's multiple things that we need to continue to work on. But he's look, when I look at the scoreboard and we've got more points than the other team, I'm going to take it as a victory, and we'll go back and we'll assess everything and we'll figure everything out later. But right now, he did the job today.
You also called this defense very exotic when you had been working with defensive coordinator Charles Watkins in his first season, obviously with you here, and how the more it's evolved and everybody's been learning everything, how it's made everybody else better. You also specifically mentioned Tyler Creamer, and he had that interception late in the end zone there. Your defense today it keeps getting better and better.
So here's what's crazy too that a lot of people didn't see. They were completing that now screen, which is so there was a time where Tyler jumped that route so fast the QB turned to throw it, and he was already there, so he couldn't even throw the ball, and that's when we got one of the sacks. So yeah, he did an unbelievable job with that interception, but just him being at the right place at the right time gives our defensive line a sack,
Yeah.
So he's a phenomenal player, and he's just going to get better. He's just a freshman.
Right, and just to your point as well, he's under great leadership in that linebacking core. I can't also be remiss if I don't mention Matt Henning, who had another great game.
Matt Henning, yes, exactly. And one of the things that we came into this game talking about is we need to tackle to win this game. There was multiple tackles that we did miss, but there were multiple great tackles. That back is very elusive, and he did an amazing job. And obviously, the inside zone, they were running all day, and our backers they would flow one way, and then we'd have to come back and make the tackle. And there's a couple of times that we slipped right by him, but most of the time, Matt Henning did a phenomenal job. And I can't go without saying great things about Tyler Dudley as well.
Yeah,
those two guys in the middle are huge.
He did have that big fumble recovery earlier on in the first that really started to begin turning the momentum and really the swinging things going forward for you guys as the game progressed along. Of course, we saw it get a little chippy out there towards the end, but that can be a story for another time. Now, as you get ready for these two road games coming up, you got the first conference win out of the way, the first home conference game out of the way. What's next for this team? Because it keeps looking better and better in terms of how elusiveness it gets.
The biggest thing, and I think I said this the other day too, execution. We need to execute, and it doesn't matter who we play out here. This conference is going to be week after week after week. We're going to see the same type of team every week, and I think this is the way the games are going to be every week. So we just need to execute. We need to take care of ourselves, and if we continue to take care of ourselves and execute, we're going to be fine.
Next two road games coming up for Concordia Chicago will be at Aurora and then at Eureka. And then our next broadcast for Cougars football will be homecoming weekend on the 26th when it's a battle of the Concordia Chicago versus Wisconsin. As always, Coach, thank you for the time.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on your first home win as well as head coach.
Thank you very much. Hey, stay with us, Coug Nation. We're going to continue to improve, and we're going to do some great things for you guys.
Thank you, Coach, for the time. Much appreciated. As our final score here once again today, Cougars 31. And the Muskies 26. For everybody behind the scenes, I'm Ryan Faison. This has been Cougars football on the Concordia Cougars Sports Network. We'll see you on the 26th. So long, everybody.